Let's go. It's the Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show.
Serves only to the hand that commands it.
He would say that every time we sparred. Sometimes as an insult. Other times as a compliment.
So people who've watched my channel, I love Horizon, the first one. I really dug that game. It was definitely one of my favorite games that came out that year. It just had a lot of great things that just made me absorb into it 100%. However, I was much more excited for Horizon 2 because I loved 1 so much. So Horizon Forbidden West was something that I was looking forward to ever since they first showed the gameplay. I bought a PS5 for this game because I was very excited. And let's talk about it.
Almost there. Hey!
So like my videos now, I like to go over the pros and cons, and I always like to talk about the pros first. So, before we get into it, Forbidden West is a direct sequel from the first one. So if you haven't played the first, you might want to go back and play it. However, I don't think it's mandatory. They do kind of catch you up on what's happening. You get the idea here. But a lot of the characters and interactions you might not get unless you play the first one. Aloy is on her mission to go west, find out what's happening, and meet up with who she thought was a good person or one of her friends, might be planning to do something evil, maybe, with one of the robot honestly, the story gets really fucking convoluted in the end. It confused the shit out of me, and that's because I have to talk about it later, one of the biggest flaws. But anyway, the story is Aloy is on an adventure once again. And the biggest plus to this game, it is beautiful. When I say beautiful, I think this is one of the most beautiful games I have ever played. I'm not just talking about the power of the PS5, which obviously looks great, it plays great, it feels great, the effects are great, but the actual design to this game is gorgeous. I mean, there's some desert levels that don't look amazing because I think deserts in games are mostly boring. But the lush forests, the ice areas, I mean, this game looks stunning at times. I mean, stunning. It's some of the best graphics and design I think I've ever seen. Ever. And that really puts it into my next plus, which is this huge world to explore, which is a lot of fun to explore. I like to explore worlds when it's like this, when I feel like I am discovering things, when I'm finding places I couldn't believe. I'm just looking at them, I'm like amazed. When I'm finding little tunnels underneath waterfalls that I want to explore. Things like that are really great. And this game offers a huge world with a lot of side quests and a very long main quest, which to a lot of people is a plus. It is a plus to me, but also a negative I'll get to later. But let's talk about another big feature, and probably one of the biggest features when you're playing a game, the gameplay. So it's very much similar to the first one. You have a bow and arrow, but you also have traps and other weapons, and of course bows that can shoot fire, poison, ice, so on. And with that, you're taking down these big robots that are very reminiscent to either dinosaurs or snakes or rhinos or things like that. So it's a lot of fun. The combat definitely stays the same in terms of making it a challenging, fun experience with a lot of different creatures to tackle. I love all that. I think the combat system is just as good as the first, if not better, because now you have a little grappling hook, which seems to be the big thing in every game now, but it works pretty well here. I say that it's not used to its full advantage here. I did use the grappling hook, but I felt like I didn't use it all the time, and I think that's just a disservice to a cool type of weapon. But the bow system is as fun as ever. It's a lot of fun to take down these huge monsters that are 20 times your size or bigger, and I think that the game offers a challenge where these monsters will fuck you up if you do not learn how to play or follow their pattern of how they fight. So all of that I think is great. And one last thing I want to talk about that I really loved about this game was there's a lot of cool upgrades with weapons and suits. So in the first game you got different suits that kind of upped your stats in certain ways. This game follows that, where you have certain suits that will upgrade your stealth or your combat, hand-to-hand or bow weapon, and so on. I think that's awesome, and I think that switching between them based on fighting different types of creatures works really well. I'll also say that the weapon system is really cool in this game. There's a lot of weapons, lots of upgrades. You can pretty much customize the way you want to battle, whether you want to use traps and lure people in, or you want to go with just more hand-to-hand combat. It's a lot better in this game. Stealth works so good in this game too. I think it's a really big plus. So with that, the combat system and the actual upgrades with the weapons and suits, all great, and lots of levels to upgrade. So that's a lot of fun. But, like every other game, with all pros comes cons, and I think this game has some pretty big ones for me. And it's such a shame because, like I said, I love the first one. It is one of my favorite games of the entire last generation. Saying that, the things I gotta talk about in this are pretty big for me. So, I want to start off with the story. It is dull. It is extremely dull. It is so dull that if you ask me what happened in it, I would probably recall some events like one of the leaders getting killed by an invading force, but honestly, a lot of the story in this put me to sleep, and that's mostly because a lot of the characters in this are very uninteresting. I mean, Aloy, I think she's a great character, but a lot of the other characters, snooze fest. I really did not enjoy this story at all. I think it's a major step down. I don't think the first one had the greatest story, but it felt more personal, and I was more invested with Aloy, and this just feels a lot of world building, a lot more characters. However, I did not care about any of those characters. This is very opinionated, obviously, so if you get attached to these characters, that's awesome for you. For me, I did not. I also think there is way too much padding, especially with the story missions and, of course, the side quests. So you're going through these long missions, and a lot of them are really not that fun. The objectives in this game are not that fun. The puzzles in this game, the few that there are, aren't that fun to solve. That's the problem. The combat system, super fun, and I love fighting big bosses and different enemies. But saying that, getting to those fights and going through these tedious fucking story missions and side missions at times just did not work for me and took away a lot of the fun. So like I said before, a big plus is the upgrade system, which I do think is good, but you have to collect a lot of parts, and some of them are fun to collect, especially if they want you to collect a certain part from a big boss. It can be a lot of fun. I really like that. And then you upgrade again, and you're like, oh, you know that guy you just fought? Well, you need to kill him again to get another part. Okay. Wait. But you need 3 of those parts, and they're only going to ever drop 1 if you hit a certain part on him. And if you miss that chance, then you have to restart or fight a different one again and again and again and again and again. So you get it? Like, it gets really fucking annoying at parts. It's more of a hassle to collect parts sometimes than enjoying me collecting the parts. Now, this goes with any game with grinding, but I really felt it in this game in the later half. Like, there were moments where I was like, I have to kill this thing again? Like, fucking again? And it just really irritated me. So, unfortunately, unlike the first game, I felt like there was more balance to that. In this game, I felt like I had to fight some of the same creatures way too many times for just a simple part. And I think this game commits the big thing that people complain about in movies, but I think it also can be said about video games, is that bigger isn't always better. And this game really is that. It is bigger. It adds a lot more story, a lot more side quests, a bigger world. All awesome, except it's not better. It's not better. If it's a better side quest, awesome. If it's a better main story, awesome. It's not. Now, I do think the world is better. I had fun exploring this world more than the first, but 1 out of 3 isn't great. You know what I'm saying? I think the combat, while it is better, isn't like brand new. It didn't add enough where I was like, oh, this is completely revamped and way better. It's just better than the first, but it's not amazingly better. It's not Uncharted 2 to Uncharted 1 in terms of like the leap. You know what I'm saying? Saying that, I think the first game is phenomenal. So this game had a lot to live up, and I don't think it did. For me, personally. Now, a lot of people obviously disagree. This game is getting excellent ratings. You guys watching this, you could absolutely love this game. So, as always, my reviews are very opinionated. I do like to give facts. Those are the facts that I'm giving, but I'm also giving my view on the game, because what else are you watching my video for? You could just look up fucking what these games offer and then not get an actual review. Also, this review is like 2 months late, so you probably already picked up the game if you were interested. Saying that, do I like Horizon? I do. I think it's a pretty solid game. I had a lot of fun with moments in this game, and I think there's some great combat. However, I got really bored with this game in the second half. I think it lacks a story to make me driven to play more, and will I revisit this game? Probably not. It is a very unlikely chance that I'm going to replay this game. So I think it's a good game. I don't think it's a bad game. I don't think it's an average game. I think it's a good game. I just don't think it's a great game. So I can't give it any higher than a 7 out of 10. Enjoyable, but not great. But what did you guys think? Did you love this game? Is it one of the greatest games you ever played in your life? Or did you like the first one a lot more like me and didn't really feel the second one? Or did you just hate this franchise in general and these games just not for you? I would love to hear your opinion below. post that, and I hope you guys enjoy. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. More videos coming, and have a great day.
I can catch her. Where is this place?
Look for a ruined settlement at our southern border. It's her childhood home. We will get the guards and try to catch up with you.